Where's the Reuven? You started the sugya of Baruch. Good. Yohanan, Moshe, I can't see your eyes. There's no sun here. There's rays in the sun. I can see. Did you prepare the sugya? So jump in. We'll start now. So do you have a Gemara? Yes. 18a. Good. So today, today we're going to start with the Mishnah. We're going to try to understand Shitas Rashi. That's our goal. I don't know how to understand Rashi. Okay? Mishnah. Yaakov, do you have a Gemara? Eliyahu, do you have a Gemara? Yes. Good. Everyone has Gemaras already set up? Good. With the help of Hashem. Okay. Shmuel, the name is? Did you have a Gemara? Have a Gemara? Okay, very good. 18b. You create someone base. So today, we're going to try to concentrate on Shitas Rashi. Okay, that's our goal. We're going to go through all the Rishonim, Machonim to the same Rashi. That's our goal. Mission. Aedim שאומרו כסב יודענו זה, אבל הנוסים היינו קטנים היינו פסולי נוסעים. הרינו למון. That's the mission. The Mishnah is talking about, it's a continuation of the previous Mishnah. The previous Mishnah spoke about Migo, a Peshosa, that even Rabbi Yoshua admits that it works. This field was your father, but I bought it from him. I could have kept quiet. That's the best Migo, and even Rabbi Yoshua admits to it. The Mishnah continues. Doesn't matter. The Mishnah continues. If you have a shot, oh, come here, come on in. Are you in the Diaspora Yeshiva? So come in, bring yourself a Gemara, and come in inside, not on the side, far away. I can't see your eyes. Where's wandering, looking somewhere else, running something else. Come on. Come. No chas v'shol. Come close. Put on your tefillin, you put on tefillin, you put on shachis. Why are you putting your tefillin? You don't listen to it. Because the shach is already gone. Not in mincha twice. Oh. So we started now today a series of sugyas about documents. From page 18b to page 22 is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, it's 4.5 dots, are the major sugyas about the power of documents. Okay? Documents. It's called sugyas of stories, documents. So we're starting now the first sugya about Kiyum stories. It's called Kiyum Shtarot. Kiyum means establishing the shtar, the document. To validate. Valid is established. So the Mishnah says, if I have a document, the document says, John Doe lent money to Yaakov. Reuven lent money to Yaakov. It's a shtar. And has witnesses that sign of it. Can Reuven collect the money that he lent money to Yaakov? with this document, he cannot. He has to establish, he has to reaffirm, he has to make the shah.
Only if they disagree with the plan. He says no.
Collect normally. You're right. It's a fine. Right? Okay, if he agrees, he admits it's no court. It's not in the court. When there is a fight, you collect with your shah. So the guy, the owner of the shah, which is Ruvain, he brings the shah to court, the document to court, and the court says you have to establish it, you have to approve it, you have to bring a, we call today, a notary, to notarize it, to prove it that is a true, that is a validated shah. So Beis Din, which is notary, the notarize the shah. How did Beis Din notarize the shah? How? There's a document written 10 years ago, 15 years ago. They look at the witnesses, and the witnesses are not around. So what do? You search for them. And if you don't find them, they're dead or they're gone. You find people that know their handwriting. Remember them. And they can affirm these are their signatures. Or you find another document that was affirmed by court, which has similar signatures. And then we can notify, we can basically will notify the document. Notarize the document. It's called keel. But if the witnesses themselves are alive, that's our mission. Our mission talks about when the witnesses themselves that sign on the document are alive. So you call them in. Hey, the basic cause is we want to notarize this document. Reuven wants to collect money from Yaakov. He doesn't want to pay. So Reuven calls the court and wants to notarize the document. So who wants to notarize the document? Come close, Moshe. Moshe. Close. Are you in Diaspora Yeshiva? That's not a joke now. So come on in. So if we want to notarize the shtar, if the witnesses themselves assign the shtar are alive, you bring them and you interrogate them and you investigate them and you find out that what they said, what they really signed in this document was a real obligatory shtar document, which means Reuven, Shimon, that they received the money, obligated themselves to pay back the money, they received it, and they signed the story is real. And the Beis Din will notarize the shtar. So comes the mission says, or 80 witnesses, or 80, the witnesses. So what is the witnesses? The same witnesses that signed the document before. Mishnah. I just gave a preface of the Mishnah. Now I'm going to read the Mishnah. Or 80, witnesses that said, this is our handwriting. Great. This is our handwriting. We signed it. So you can collect with the money. But they add words. We were forced. We were minors. We were canceled to give testimony. The law is money that believe and what to say that they were forced, they were minor, or the psula edus. And therefore, what do I do with this document? Rip it up. There's no kiyum on it. So there's no kiyum on the shot. Because what? Back in the box. Put a box in the box or you rip it. Two options. Or you rip it. Or you put it on the box. Pashtus is you rip it. Because the witnesses that signed the shot, they reveal the beads. They say the story. Listen, we signed on it, but we were Nusi. We signed on it, but we were Knani. We signed on it, so since the same witnesses that signed the document said this is our handwriting, but we were Anusi, we were Knani, we were Psuleidos, so therefore in their money they believe, and you rip the shot. Let's see, Rashi. This is not so simple. There's a lot of parts to it. There's a lot of parts. We're just now starting the sugya, as I said. It's a series of sugyas for the next 3 months. all about Sharot. Okay? So there's a lot of laws intertwined in between each other. There's a lot of points to talk about, but we want to concentrate on Rashi. Okay? Pashas, Mishnah, and Rashi. Oh, Mendel, come on. Do you have a Gemara? Get yourself a Gemara. Get yourself a Gemara. You can come in here next to Moshe Yochanan. Mendel, come here next to Moshe Yochanan, the first row. You see your face, beautiful beard. Good. Come on. Come on. Okay. So let's see Rashi. I'm going to read Rashi and the Mishnah. Aedim she'omu. I'm reading Rashi. This is 3 lines on the top on the left side. Aedim she'omu. Witnesses that said, etc. She'oyu ma'idim al chasimosom. They were giving a testimony on their signature, which is they're the ones that signed on the shah years ago or whatever it was. So yes, this is our handwriting. This is our signatures. Why are they doing that for? The kindness of shah to establish the document. Because the borrower says, no, it's false. He says, false, okay, I'll bring witnesses that are not false. So I bring the witnesses, I whistle, come in. Merel and Shmerel, come in. You sign on this document, come to court and testify as a real document. But they added, I bought it for my benefit, and they gave me a punch. They said, yes, it's our handwriting, it's our signatures, but there's a but here. Aval, anusimainu psul eidus. Rashi's psul eidus, he brings to the shop. Number 1 is koivi, relatives, or mesahakim bekubiyah, or they are playing with a dice. Can a person play a dice? It says in the Gemara in Sanhedrin, anyone that plays a dice, if you go to, it's called, what's it called? Casino, you play a dice, you're postulators. You cannot give a testimony.
And what if you play poker for a business?
So Machlokes Rambam and Rosh, why they're postulators? The Rambam says because it's Gezel. And the Rosh says because they're not part of Yeshua Shalom. Gezel means, the Rambam says why it's Gezel. Because a person, when he plays the dice, he doesn't really plan to lose. He's sure is going to win. You ever saw a guy buys yesterday, I went somewhere I went on a trip with the drink boys, and we stopped for drinking. And I said, but guys are not coming back. I went off the bus, come on in. I see a guy, he stopped to buy the lottery. I said, what is he doing? He said, I never bought a lottery. I saw a lottery, I want to buy it, maybe I would win. He says, listen, are you planning to lose this money? Maybe I would win. What is that maybe? It's a wish, it's a dream.
The lottery is different than the gambling.
If I would know that, you're right. But if I would know that if I would lose the money, I would give the money, no, I'm sure I'm winning. So people are not really giving away the money for losing. They give money to win. It's called gezel. It's a smach. It's not a person. A smach means he relies not to lose. The Maise, right? Moshe Yochanan, you read that sugya? The Maise people are not postulators today because today it's gambling are part of the country's collect taxes and they make no, it's part of the law of the country. They're allowed to gamble in this area, in this place. And Mimele is not stealing. You put the money, and you know that that's part of the game. And if he's doing it, it's permitted by law to do it, and therefore it's not considered. It's not a smack. You're not relying not to lose. It's okay, and therefore you're not postulating. Well, the Mike said in the Gemara's time, or if you go to a non formal casino, so then you play a dice, you postulate. Or because the Rambam says it's stealing, because the people that steal from you, the robbers of their possible. Or if you would win, you steal from them because they're planning not to lose. Everybody's not planning to lose. If you win, you stole. If you lose, they stole. So everywhere, nobody's planning to lose. So therefore, you possible me the Rabbanon. You're not to steal from going to. כי הם לא תכננו להפסיד.
לא, אני רוצה להשתמש להם מספרים מסוימים שהם יכולים להפסיד בכוונה. הם יודעים שהם יכולים להפסיד בכוונה.
אבל אנחנו מתכננים בסוף שהם יוציאו לך את כל הכסף.
של אחרים.
גם שלך. You're going to play again and again till you lose all your money. Those are the rules. There are statistics. Yeah. No, I mean, objects too. Valuable. Okay, guys. Our goal is today to understand this mission. There's a lot of parts to it, but I want to explain to this Rashi, okay? So Rashi gave us two explanations. What is Psul Eidos Niu? One pshat Rashi says, Kroivi. Second pshat Rashi says, Mesachikim Bekubim. Okay? So before we get into this Rashi to understand the depths, I just want to summarize what does the mission say. And then we're going to go into the Rishonim that explain Rashi, give the slows of it, etc. The mission is saying that if the document of the Shah is not, listen to the Mishnah says, if the document is not Mekuyom, is not established, is not notified, verified, and I bring the witnesses to verify the Shah, and they say it's our handwriting, but there's a but. Anusi, we were forced. I want to ask you a question. If I wanted to bind the three cases, I would say, force means what? There was a loan or no loan? Normally, if it's a loan, you only force me. Force me to sign means there's no loan. So we gave it a false testimony. But if I say we are Psul Eidos, I'm not saying there was no loan. I'm saying Rashi says I was a relative. Or I'm saying means I cannot give a testimony, but I'm not saying was no loan.
You said Ktanim, you don't see well.
What about Ktanim? Ktanim also, I'm not saying there's no loan. I'm saying I was a minor.
But you don't see.
Again. If I say I was forced to sign, I don't need to force someone if it's a real story. Force means although there's no story, but he forced me. What kind of force? We're going to talk about the force of money, force of a gun. Be a son of a gun. He'll find him. I'll kill you. I said, I'm a nefashos. Okay, so that's mamish. Anusi, whatever Anusi means, but simple Anusi means there's no loan. This is how handwriting was no loan. But Psul Eidos and Ktanim, there's a loan. Just we apostle. What?
Has no value.
Has no value. Very good. So the Mishnah says, although those two categories, yes, what do you want to say, Gacham?
Why doesn't he bring up an example of him being drunk?
We were drunk?
Yeah.
Okay, now when he said we were drunk, doesn't mean there was no loan.
No.
Okay, so I'll put in the second category of minor, or it could be the same thing. Yeah. But I'm saying, in the three cases, I will divide it into two. One is, they say, Anusi means there's no loan. The other one that says, we were puzzled to give a testimony. We were canceled. We're not reliable witnesses. Because we're Psul Eidos, because we are minor. In the Psul Eidos, Rashi brings two cases. Or we were relatives, or we were Mesachikim Bekubim. We are dice players, and therefore the robbers don't rely on us. Can I rely? We're not serious. We are robbers. We don't value money. We steal ourselves, so you can't rely on our words.
But the might say when a couple when he sees something, he doesn't see the couple. You don't rely on to see. So he did not see well.
But now they say there was a loan, then we were minor. 9-year-old dog, so there was a law, but just for a minor. They didn't say anything.
There's a rule that says
What?
There's a rule that says never should go to.
Right, Mishnah, we learned it before in page 13. There's a dog can say when he was a minor, reference to Kahuna.
But they don't see it. When a cotton sees, he don't say you see well.
Okay.
You have to be about that.
Okay, but he's not saying, you're right, that we don't rely on his words. But he's not saying, but he's not giving his statement is not, there was no law. There's a big difference between saying there was no stories that Psul Be'etzem, or there's a plural of Eidos, you don't rely on my words, but you're not saying that the Shah is possible. A document, one second, a document that was no law and is forged is not a document. A document which had witnesses which cannot give testimony there was a story, just was a Psul in it. It's a different story, it's a whole different story in the Mishnah. And the Mishnah says, on all those cases, it means 2 of those cases, 3 cases, which are 2, basically. The Mishnah says, Areinu ne'emonim, they believe. Rashi said, let's see what Rashi says. Areinu ne'emonim, they are believed. Let's see Rashi. 3rd Rashi in the Mishnah. Where's Shmuel? He was here. Oh, maybe jump off the thing. Oh, the Shmuel waiting for you. Areinu ne'emonim, Rashi said, reading the 3rd Rashi. Areinu ne'emonim, keivan de'en ksav yodom nika el al piem. You know, we believe them. Come on in, Meir Chaim, what's your name? What? Chaim Maya. No, come on in. You just have a Gemara. You can put on tefillin while you're learning Torah. Why? What's the goal of putting on tefillin? Leman tiyeh teras Hashem beficha. In order that the Torah should be in your mouth to remind you to learn Torah. So when you learn Torah, you don't need to wear tefillin. Right? That's the goal. So you don't wear tefillin. But you could wear. It gives you extra kedusha. If you didn't daven, you must wear. Okay. Good. Rashi says, Areinu ne'emonim, keivan de'en ksav yodom nika, since their handwriting is not recognized, ela al piem, only through their mouths, apeh she'osar u'apeh she'itir. Rashi says, since the handwriting is not recognized to court, only through the mouths of those witnesses, so the mouth that prohibits is the mouth that permits. The mouth that prohibit that says it's a good document and you can collect, means to prohibit means to bring a debt and collect the loan. The mouth that prohibit that you can collect the loan, who are peshi'ita, that he untied the document. Ki eichi demehem naslehu aho. In the same way you believe them on that's the handwriting, imninu aho, believe them on this, that is not a good document. Why? Or there was no loan because they were forced. Or there was a psul in the shtar. There's a good shtar, but it's a psul. Shtar plus a shtar. It's not chisoro and that there's no das mischayev. The whole idea of shtar, the whole power of document is saying that there was a debtor. This document says there was the debtor, I debt myself. The borrower debt himself. So there was a nasa mischayev here. The question is, who signed on it? Was it false witnesses? Was it a minor? The psuleidos or relatives or kubyo? So therefore, all those things are making a shtar possible, and they believe it's a bill of shtar possible. But he cannot collect. So both he cannot collect. Just one is cancels the shtar in essence by saying there's not even a shtar because we were forced, means there was no loan, was forgery, was force, we were forced to sign, there was no story. Means they're fighting on the das HaMischayev, no shtar, and they believe. And the other one says, the other 2 cases of Ktanim and Psuleidos, they're saying that they were a Psul. There was a story maybe, but the story cannot be said by us because we're Psuleidos. We're minor or Psuleidos because relatives. or relatives, or Mesageh Bekubi. Yes, now this is the case of the Resha. Hello?
They said that these are our signatures.
What?
They said these are our signatures. Let's see. Let's check it out.
Yes.
Well, you see that they're signatures.
Right.
So that's so much you see.
Yeah.
And not just their word. You see that?
How do you see?
They signed.
But they signed then, not now.
No, but they're now like anybody. You have a signature. Your signature is the same throughout your life. It doesn't change.
Right.
So they signed as their signature. So the fact they said it, you can check it. You don't even say anything. They just signed it down.
One second. If they came to court and they didn't give any testimony, they were quiet and they say, listen, the court says, this is your handwriting? So they make a signature and say, look yourself. So then how basically knows that that's through the handwriting, not through words. But he was talking about different. He was talking about they didn't sign. They say, yes, this is our handwriting. They say words. And the same testimony that they say is our handwriting, they also said that, by the way, I want to put you on Gabbai in the morning. I was searching for you today. I want to start putting you on Gabbai. Give you, uplift you. So the Gemara says that somebody is a Gabbai and he dies, it goes down to his children. Yes? It's a saw. It's a position. You can give this guy shachis, this almighty, this guy this coin to be a coin first, the other coin first, lady. You have that decision. Here, you give you that decision. It's a saw. It's a ruling. Anyhow.
Check it out.
What?
Even if they speak, but there's a way of checking it out.
No, they just speak.
No, good, but you speak, but you can check it out.
You could.
Yeah.
But it's too late. Once they spoke and I live it through their mouth and they also cancel, it's finished. If they start the story different, you're right. But they didn't start like that. They start saying it's Ksav Yodeinu with words. And they also said, Anusim, Ktanim, Psuleidos.
But let's say they say Ksav Yodeinu.
Yes.
And afterwards, they check out. They say, no way, that's not your signature.
That's the second case of the Mishnah.
That's a different story. That's not the case of the Mishnah.
The second case, Ksav Yodeinu goes to Rokamach.
Right, what is Ksav Yodeinu? They sign someone other paper. And the basically makes a connection between the two signatures. So I don't care what they say. I see what they handwriting, that's why I don't care what they say. That's the second part of the mission. We don't believe them. But if I didn't see through the handwriting somewhere else, actually through words, and they said it's our handwriting, they also, and so I have to listen to what they say. If I believe them that it's not saying, and believe them also that we're forced, or they're minor, ktanim, or psuleidos, or they're koivim relatives, or Mesageh.
So don't ask them.
What?
They just say they have no proof, they're basic. Who those signatures are.
Yes.
They say it's our signature. That's it?
That's the case.
No, but they don't ask him to sign.
No? Yes. I say, this is your signature? Yeah, this is mine. This is mine. I can recognize this. This is mine. That's what you do. You don't make another, this is not a bank. A bank, your machine has to read your handwriting, you have to sign 20 times until the machine signs, it can the algorithm of the machine can figure out it's your handwriting in all ways. No, that's not the case. Okay. Shh. Yes, so now we want to go back to Rashi. Yes.
I don't say Rashi. Why Rashi did not say simple?
Yes.
We have a rule. Anything what they say, we believe.
Yes.
So what we have to say, we believe on this. Every court in the world.
Yes.
Any talk is saying we believe this.
Yes.
We do that.
Yes.
We don't do that. Any talk we believe.
Right.
So why Rashi say can't be Why have to get to that?
Why not?
I get this. Every AD, I have a question. Every AD we do AD, they make AD. We believe AD.
Right.
Coach AD.
Good.
So they say something. They believe everything they say.
Right.
So when you're making part. They didn't talk, we believe everything.
Why does the Havamina say, very good, does the Havamina say that once it's said it's our handwriting, so basically the star is okay, and I don't care what they talk anymore. It's finished. It's the done deal. It's a history. You have a document that says it was alone. I recognize this is my handwriting, finish. I cannot talk anymore. Oh, so we say, we're not saying talking anymore. We're not saying that. We're saying you have to believe the next part they say, because if you don't believe the second part, don't believe the first part, don't believe the first part, don't believe the second part. It is talking anymore.
Every day, Edim talk. Don't make Chanukah. I never saw no Shas or Shulchan. Edim talk. Part this is part. Edim talk. You believe all the Edim all the time what they say. You believe Edim. Edim, you believe the Edim. We believe them what they say. Don't make. I believe this. Who can you believe? You believe. We believe Edim. Edim, we believe what they say. Oh, you don't believe the Edim? It's not a story. If you believe Edim, believe the Edim. If I believe the Edim. As far as Chilukim, I believe the Edim, what they say.
We treat it as two separate sayings.
I know. So this is your head. It's a basic head. But the Ma'asim, it's not the Edim, they say what they need. So man, there's no Chilukim, because we have the Edim part. All the cock is the Edim, so there's no Chilukim here. The Rashi's problem. Why Rashi?
Maybe that's why Rashi said Misachim B'Kuvia. That's why Rashi said Misachim B'Kuvia. Because that's included in the Mishnah. You need a Pesha also Pesha to overcome Misachim B'Kuvia.
Because it's like a shakar, a gana.
Because it's Russia. You have to have Pesha also to overcome it.
So good. You're asking a very good question. Shlomo is asking a question. We're going to have to deal with it. That's how it's quiet. It's a good question. The question is, Rashi says, why I believe those witnesses? Because I bet Shos and I bet Shehidi. We'll have to come onto that. Just say, Eidim that speak. And Tochen Eidim when they said something else. You have to listen what they say. Unless you say, Pagim Dibu, I cut off. Why to cut off? There's no reason to cut off.
Because it contradicts themselves.
Because it's our handwriting, and then they said what? We are Muslim.
Which is our handwriting
means they're kosher, they're good. And now they say they're apostle. So then what do you have? If you have a statement of witnesses that contradict each other, what do you do? Tochen Eidim. She followed the Rosh Hashanah. It's not Tochen over Tochen Eidim. You can change him out. If Elamai was talking about Achen Eidim. So Rashi is only talking about you have to come on the Peshosa Achen Eidim. And even though Achen Eidim is no din of Eidos, but it's a din of Peshosa. Pashas says no. Pashas Rashi wants to bypass. Even though it's not part of the din of Eidos, because for some reason Eidos I don't have, we'll have to deal with it soon with other Shem. Still, I need to believe them because I'm Peshosa Shehidi. Because he can't cut the words in belief. If you want to believe me that it's my handwriting, believe me that I'm saying that I was postal, I was honest, I was ktanim, etc. Okay, this is what the Mishnah says. A good point. We'll deal with it. What?
So it's really it's not kashur to ben manus of Eidim. It's just ben manus.
It's not the Eidim lechoyva. It's not the Eidus because Tochen Eidim of the Eidus I said I was an apostle. It's because a person of Shehidi. Why Rashi to come into that? We'll see. Rashi said right away that the Pshat and the Mishnah is a little Nemonim, the Nemonus is a Peshosa. It's not a din in Eidus. In testimony, Tochen Eidim, and such with the rules of Eidus. If the rules of Eidos, you have to come and Tochen Eidim, and then you have a problem of Eidos, can I make myself a Rosh or not? Which the Gemara has to deal with it. What kind of honor is? What kind of Pesachim the Kubia? I was also making myself a puzzle. That I played the Kubia. I was how do you call it? Gambler? Addict? What kind of person I am?
That's for his professions that he does that.
Yeah. Pesachim the Kubia means he was playing Kubia.
He does it 3 times a year for fun.
No. It just depends. The sheet is that Eidim and Ish has to be not for fun, something that's serious he does. According to the sheet of Gezer, so no matter what is a Gezer. Either way.
I mean, we started off saying that the other Mishnah said Pesha Osir. Pesha Osir. The Mishnah previous.
Said, it's a continuation of the previous Mishnah.
So Rashi said Pesha Osir, you could say, I mean, for the Hefra, it has to be a continuation. It has to be Pesha Osir.
Good, it's a very good point, but still the Shlem is asking why. Why have to come out the Pesha Osir? Just say that I have to listen to them because it's one Eidus.
So that's what I try to say. Rashi said because that means the term Psula Eidus is goes to the Masechta Sanhedrin.
Let's say Psula we're doing a Psula, but they're saying in one month this is our handwriting and we're Psula Eidus. What's wrong? Yes, Rebbe.
In the terms of no, because they know the Meitzah in Russia. Because Mikuvia is Russia. And so
no.
No,
it's not Russia, therefore.
Mitzad Migui, that doesn't.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Right.
Okay, so then the reason why Rashi says Pesha Osir is because Rashi said Mitzad Mikuvia. So
1 second. Now you're touching a big bubble, how do you call it? Bubble, very big bubble. Wow. 1 second. This is a whole sugya here. If you want to say that Mesachim Bekubia means they're saying the Apostle Eidus and therefore the Mesim Atzma Rosha. So really Mitzad Mesachim Bekubia the Rosha. So really they're saying, listen, this is our handwriting, but we were Roshayim. So Mitzad Eidus, I cannot believe them because they're saying we're Roshayim. That's why after I said, come on, that I believe the Mitzad Pesha Pesha
Rabban is the Rabbonon.
What?
No,
I'm not saying that. You're right. But I'm talking about if Mitzad Bekuba, I don't think it's the Rabban Doraisa. But the reason why Rashi says Inam as a second answer, normally, if Rashi brings 2 answers, the second answer means there's a better answer, right? If Rashi brings 2 answers, the first answer is a better answer, the second answer is a better answer, Rabbi? Machlek is what?
I asked Reb Cohen, but he brought us all the different sheets.
The what?
Maybe the first is better, maybe the second answer is better. I don't remember.
I remember that Reb Shas Cohen said it here in public in places, not in Rashi. Not in Rashi. Rashi normally, Rashi in Chumash, you see the Mizrahi always, everybody explains what Rashi brings the first answer, he had some problems with it. And therefore, he gave another answer. And Toises Rabbi Shas Cohen to say is not Lav Dafka. It's like Tushis Ushoini. That's a Toises and Toises will pass on other places. But the Pash is always in Rashi. When Rashi brings 2 answers, the second answer is a better answer. I won't say better, he had a problem with the first answer.
Why is it wrong?
What?
Why is it wrong?
I don't know. I'm asking. I'm all putting on the table. This is one to clarify today.
Why do you think it's a problem?
Because all Rashi brings up another pshat.
But they're both true.
What?
They're both true.
Koivim or Mesagim Bekubia. Koivim absolutely. There's but there's a difference in Koivim is relatives, but they're not saying they did an Aveira. A Koiv is not an Aveira. A person's relative. I'm not a Baal Aveira. I didn't do sins. I'm relatives. So you can't hear it's a Xeras HaKos. Even Moshe and Aaron, they definitely saying the truth. They're not Baal Aveira, just their brothers. Brothers cannot give a testimony. But beside the Bekir, I'm saying I did an Aveira. What? I know, but there's a difference between Pesul because I'm a relative naturally, or I'm saying I'm a Pesul because I did a sin. When somebody says I did a sin, he's saying a testimony about himself that he's wicked. So he's saying, according to the second pshat, that Rashi says, I did a sin. Rashi says, you know what? Why are we not kosher? This is our handwriting. But you cannot rely because we did a sin. We are sinners. We are dice player beside the Kuvia. So since we are saying that we are sinners, and so therefore you cannot believe it anymore as a testimony. But why we don't believe me? Because a peshosa. Mitzad Eidus. In this case, I don't know, I'm saying I'm a Rosh, I did a Meister Resha. So I'm a Gafre, I'm a person. What Gafre means? Chaim, and Shmuel. We know what Gafre means? A person. I'm saying I'm a person of a sinner. I sin. I cannot give Eidos, I did a sin, right? I'm a sinner. And the person says, I did a Meister Aveira, I did an act of sin. I cannot give a testimony. Okay? So therefore, why do you believe that? sinners, but you have to believe it because they have a proof. A proof is above sinners. A sinner, you cannot give it, you don't believe in a testimony. But if I have a proof, let's say a guy comes in, he's a robber, you don't believe one word he said, but he has a proof. So forget his words, a proof is a proof, right? He has a proof. So I'll put your side as a kind of a proof. If you want to rely on me that it's my handwriting, believe me that that I'm a apostle. Because otherwise I don't believe at all. I could have kept quiet. I'm a liar, I could have kept quiet. So it's a proof, it's a built-in proof. A best there's a built-in proof. It's like a migo, even strong migo. One second, Rabbi, I just want to remember your question. I just want to summarize what we have here. So what we have here really, Rashi's saying that the reason and the issue of the Mishnah, when I have a document that I want to verify, I want to notify this document. I go to a notary, I go to Beis Din, and the witness says, this is our handwriting, but there was no storage by force. So you believe that. A person is a peshitin, not as eidus, a person peshitin. If he says we're ktanim and psul eidus, that says we're minor, or we or psul eidus means we're relatives, so if you're not relying on our words, a person is eidus. You have to believe them because they could have kept quiet. So if they kept quiet, the document has no validity. It's not a notarized document. It's anyhow, it's not a good document. They came to verify it, in the same token, they also knocked it out. So you can't believe their verification halfway. Believe to the end. That's what Peshosa. And there was stage with no verification, no good shot. So stage believe is not a good shot. Okay? You can't take the words halfway. So explain this. What do you have to come on that Peshosa? He just say, when they say we are not good aiding, because we're postulating, depends. If they say we are nusim, which are nusim? Could be a nusim of the Roshoim, so the postulating can be a nusim of the Roshoim. If they say we're a minor, they're not a Rosh, they're a minor, that's a reality. If they're relatives, that's the reality, not a Roshoim. But if they, Mesachim and Cuba, they said we did an act of sinners, so they say that we are sinners. We cannot give a testimony. So therefore, Rashi had to come in that case. We still the Mishnah says, I believe the Peshosa. But Elochonami, not in that case. The case of relatives, or the case of Kani, or the case of a Muslim, if it's not a Psul, it's a Muslim, it's not a Psul. You have to come on to Peshosa. If they say Mitzad Eidus, and the Eidin that says a testimony, you believe it all that. Who says Eidin? You made a decision. And now I'm finishing with your point, and I'm getting to the last point. Who says that witnesses? Maybe once you have the document, it's a document.
Rashi says it.
Where Rashi says it?
Rashi says.
No, that's the Gemara's cast.
Well, I know Rashi, where, show me the words.
Eidim sha'omu, don't say Eidim shemini.
No, read the next words.
Listen, Eidim sha'omu.
Next words. So you jump to Rashi, read, you have a proof from Rashi. Shemini. Shoyu meidim achasimos, lekayim sha'ad, it's Eidus. Eidus.
And the Mishnah doesn't say Eidus. The Mishnah says only sha'omu.
Rashi says meidim.
Exactly, it's Eidus.
But I believe that the money. Yes, Rabbi. Yes. What the Mishnah says Ayinu?
3 times.
Right.
For each grouping, right? Means Ayinu means I was playing, not normally I was.
I was, which says now?
Ayinu normally how to use each one of the groupings.
Right. 3 times Ayinu. Anosim Ayinu, Ktanim Ayinu, Muslim Ayinu.
Right. So besides the fact that there are 3 different groupings,
Three
different groupings, there are not feelings between the groupings, it's also looking up the past, because we have to live in them now. So it has to be that you're telling us something that happened in the past when the halva happened, but it's not true now, otherwise we wouldn't accept it.
Because if, let's say, let's continue what you're saying. If they say we're relatives and they're still relatives, so the same way they cannot give a testimony about the document, then the same way that the document is not good because we're relatives, then they cannot say now the continuation that they were false, that they were relatives. They can't talk at all. It doesn't start. So it has to be that now we can speak because we're not relatives anymore. Now we can speak because we're not minor anymore. Now we can speak of they're not forced, and we talk about that story then. So that's simply how to say Yainu. Right? So relatives were relatives and were not relatives. Mesachim Bekubi has to be, and we did tshuva.
Right.
There's ways to give. There's a shchono in Simon Lamed Gimel, Lamed Vav. That's Lamed Gimel. It tells you how a person that used to play dice does tshuva. There's a way to do tshuva.
He has to prove the truth.
He has to prove the tshuva. He has to be in situations that he doesn't play game. There's a way to speak tshuva. He did tshuva.
Does that render his signature kosher though?
What?
Does that render his signature kosher?
No, it wouldn't help then because there was Hamakurim, but now he can speak about them because now he's kosher. He did tshuva. He's not a relative anymore. Now he's a minor. He's an adult, not a minor. Now he's not forced. Or let's say they were forced for money. So I did tshuva. I'm not going to do it anymore for money. If they were forced for souls, so they're not anymore forced. So if we were forced for money, you would say, then I cared about money, I was afraid there was money, I did tshuva, I'm not going to do it even for money. Because you're not allowed to do sins for money. You cannot sign documents for money. So I did tshuva. So all those cases I was then, not anymore, I'm not going to do it for money anymore, I'm an adult, I'm not relatives anymore, or I'm not a Messiah Bakuri anymore. But by me saying that then I was Messiah Bakuri, I'm a Bala Veira, so I'm saying then I was a Ish Posol Eidos, because I did an Aveira, so then you cannot believe it, so there's no Eidos on it. But if I'm saying I was a relative, so relatives also cannot give Eidos. Or Anusim. Anusim, they're not saying where there's no Eidos. Anusim saying that there was Eidos, just was, it's worse. They're not saying it's the person of Eidos, saying there was no Eidos, there was no Shtar Bechla, there was no Gaza Mischayim. Okay. So now, if you have the papers of Slabodka papers, I want to read the Ramban. Okay, there's two parts. I want to read the last part of the Ramban, and then we're going to go back to the first part of the Ramban, which goes on the Yibbo. Yes, Rabbi.
I just want, in Rashi, how the first sheet understand it says, here,
right.
It seems you have to first of all understanding, seems like a dimion. You believe in here, you believe in here, but that's in the person. So you believe in him, so you believe in him. I know from you. Like I believe here, I like to believe here. But when it comes to Meshach, especially once I believe in it,
I think it's a because. It's a because I believe, because otherwise, if you don't believe at all, it's a miman of shach. And therefore, since you have to believe, since you want, the whole starting point is to believe his word, so believe pull in.
So then why does Rashi go?
Why he's bringing a Peshosa in Kiechi?
He says, Peshosa here.
I think that's the logic behind.
That's the Perush.
That's the Perush of Pesach Peshit.
In other words, just like we may live here, not because of a Siba with Suba relationship. Because you believe them here, to say
no.
We needed them.
It's the same way. If you don't believe him on the second, or believe him on the first, believe him on the first, believe him on the second. The Dinyo.
Because that's in the guy. It's not about the haters of what he's an Ade, which is Pesha's Bishop. You believe him, the Mekayim is trying to believe him. Somehow there's a yachas there between the what the kindness are doing, as opposed to the person is saying. The Hey Maham is on the person. You believe in this, believe in that. You believe in it, so believe in that. But it's Pesha's Bishop, maybe it's.
Okay, we're going to have to deal with it. We're going to deal with it in deeper ways. What is exactly a Pesach Peshitim? But definitely I understand that that's the Perush of it. What is the Perush? I don't know yet. Is that really a Perush? It's a Perush. Yes. There's a lot of Torah in this. There's a big Hashmul in this. I'm not answering. We put me in a call it a mine, bomb. Minor bombs. There's a lot of. The simple way that the word Hashmul is learning Peshosa is that he's the Balatov. He's the Balatov. He's the Bal of the story. He's the owner of the story. So how this will be a Perush? A person who is about the Purim is not because he's the owner of the story. Because he's telling you the story, you have to believe his first part is the owner of the story. So believe also that. You can't cut the Bala story cannot cut it to half. This is the way the Big Shmuel and Maisa explains Pshat in the Mishos. So it's a paygo shit.
If you say we come in, how can you be not covered?
Again?
If you say I was covered, we were covered.
Right.
So how can it be no?
Because then, let's say it was my sister-in-law and he got divorced. Brother-in-law and got divorced. This is the Ramban. I'm explaining the Ramban. I'm reading the Ramban. Look in the Ramban, page 2, that base. You guys have the Ramban? The Ramban. You will have the Ramban. A page base. Chidush Ramban. There's a second paragraph. Pirish Rashi. Okay, all this is a preface to the real Sugya here, and I want to march today as well to the Ikar Sugya, B'ezrat Hashem. Should give us the bracha. Succeed. This is like a side, not side pointers, beginning of the beginning. Pirish Rashi. Psuli na'inu mesachim bekubya. We were pasul, we were mesachim bekubya. Second paragraph in the Ramban. You have it there? Pirish Rashi. Psuli na'inu mesachim bekubya. V'ikele meidak. There is to make a diuk. L'rabona na'mayne hemne. According to Chachomim, there's a Gemara brings down that our Mishnah is Chachom. Rameir argues our Mishnah. But according to Chachomim, it's our Mishnah. Amayne hemne, why the witnesses are believed? O ein odom meisimatz merosho. This is for you, Rabbi Yosef Chaim. When he says, this is my handwriting, but I was a gambler at that time, he's making himself wicked. So therefore, why is believed? In this question, there's so much. I mean, it's based on an assumption that a person that makes himself wicked, I cannot hear what he says. So forget about
Never started.
Never started, he's Rosha. Therefore, you have to say, Keloshon Achesh Pirish Rashi. The first Loshon of Rashi, he learns like two Lashonis. Not all two options. I know you correct me when I say two answers. No, Rashi says two options, right? That's what he corrected me. And I kept silent, I didn't answer you. I accepted you. Oh. But the Ramban says, Nire Keloshon Achesh Pirish Rashi, Koivi. He says, must be there were relatives. What does it mean we were relatives? This is Yura Moshe. Lav Davka. What was Lav Davka? They were relatives by their wives and they are distant. But the first is very strange. It means we're still Korov. So you wrote, how can you speak about it? If I'm saying I'm still a relative, so how can I speak when he says Lav Davka? Very strange. And more than that, what was the question, what was the answer? What was the question, what was the answer?
I don't know what the question was. We have Peshos and Peshitis.
His question was, I'm not going over the question and answer. The question was, if they say Mesachim Bekuyo, I believe, and although Mesi Matzmorash, a man cannot make himself wicked.
He says, he's not
What's the question? I have a Peshosa.
Nemonus, not Eidus.
What?
A Peshos,
Not Eidus, I have a Nemonus. I have a Migo, Peshosa. What do you want to say about Yosef Chaim?
No. The Gemara says it overcomes. Ain't no the Mesimat in Russia. Peshos overcomes it. The Gemara says it.
So what's his question?
Yeah, but here too it should overcome it. Why should it not overcome it?
Okay, so who's he asking?
I don't know. I don't know. We have to maybe, I mean, I don't want to say, but maybe you have to learn the other Ramban to see. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Even with a Pesha לא מאמינים אין האדם עצמך ורשע, לא מאמינים לו שהוא רשע.
Maybe there's a difference between the Rami Bahama and Rabba. The Kasha of Yosef Chaim would be according to Bahama, but according to Rabba, you can say things change. Rashi has to fit into both. Question is, what is their money? Does that mean you rip up the star, or you just leave it without kiyum?
Right.
So, according to Rami Bahama, you're obviously just leaving it. You're just leaving it, you're not ripping it up, because we can't believe them to make themselves a Russia. But according to...
One second. According to Bahama, or first Bahama?
Rami Bahama...
Which one? The first one or the last one?
First Rami Bahama.
First Rami Bahama says that the sefer is Anusi Machmas. Momo and Nefoshes believe, and Reisha and Nefoshes, even Momo is believe.
Even Mammon.
Right.
Their money. Right. What does that mean? They make themselves a Russia. They can't make themselves a Russia. Elamai.
Depends on what they said. If they didn't say they were Russia, they just said they were forced. Machmas one is Russia, right?
It's Mammon. But there's a Pesha as a Pesha Hitler.
Right.
What does that mean? You rip up the star, or you just leave it as it is?
Okay, so let's say you leave it as it is.
Right. Okay. So then you don't make them into a Russia. You just.
So then Ramban's question was, he understood that you rip it.
Right.
So he said, how can you rip it in order to see what's Russia?
According to Rabba. Rabba can learn Rabba's the other Rami Bahama.
Yes.
The other one, you're learning that their money means you rip it up because you believe them totally. Because they.
One second. The other Rami Bahama says the Reisha is Machmas Nefoshes. But Momo, I don't believe it. And as a matter of Russia, I don't believe it. One belief is I don't believe to rip, but I leave it on.
No, in the Reisha. How do we learn the Reisha of the Mishnah according to the second Rami Bahama?
You're talking about Nefoshes.
By Nefoshes or by Mom? Let's say Nefoshes, they're not in Russia, so you definitely even rip the star.
You can rip the star.
But by Mom?
No, you don't rip it.
But by Mammon, you can't say.
You don't believe that.
You don't believe that. So it means you don't rip the star, but you leave the star, or what do you do with the star? You leave it, or you just don't rip it?
They say Anusim.
This is, by the way, this is my problem was, my main part of the shiur, which is the second I wanted to talk about this, because the first one by Momo and by Reisha, there's a Peshosa, Rashi said. Rashi says in the Reisha time is from a Pesha. So why, according to the second one by Momo, the Reisha, Anusi Machmas Momo, okay, I'm not believed because I'm a Sorosha, but it should be still a Peshosa. Why? But what's the answer? What? Okay, good.
Guys, there's
this needs an explanation. So now, let's go back to the Ramban's Kasha. What was the Ramban's Kasha?
No, but in the Maskona, one thing, forgive me. In
Yes.
the Maskona, Rashi does not learn Masach Kuvia.
Rashi nullified, just as aiding. He says, Avodim.
In the Bottom Rashi there. The Bottom Rashi there.
Yeah.
And we assume the Ramban knows the Bottom Rashi.
Yeah, no, so.
Huh?
I know.
So you can't say that the Ramban is asking on the Maskona of the Gemara. He's not asking on Rava. The Ramban is asking Rami Bachama. He's not asking Rava. So you can't say Rava is an answer to this question. Because he's not in Rava. He's in Rami Bachama.
First, I don't know what he had. Let's review his end of the Yeshua Kasha. Rabbi Ben wanted to say that when the Ramban asked the Kasha, Vikal Me'idak, Lerabon Amay Mehemne, or En Od Mesi Matzah Morosha, he's really understanding that the Pshat is in the Mishnah that Ne'emoni means I rip the star. And the Kasha was, En Od Mesi Matzah Morosha, and a person also want to help to rip the star. Person maybe I don't collect, but I don't rip.
Have to say that.
And he understood that I ripped the star. That's what he answers. What do you want to ask on this? This is what the parents answer. That was the answer?
Again.
That was your answer, Rabbi?
No, I think his answer.
You're not sure. That's my understanding of your answer. It's a good answer.
His answer was that according to Rava, Migu does not overcome Me'inam Metzmatzah Grosha, and therefore that's what the Ramban is asking.
I don't know, you saying Rava arguing this. I don't know, you already made up, you have a whole theory.
What?
That Rava argues that and what?
No, Rava is the second shot, forgive me. Rami Bachama number 2.
No, Rava number 2, yes.
Rava is the one who said.
Okay, hold Peshosa doesn't work. It doesn't overcome. Right, somehow. Okay.
So then I believe Rivera wanted to say that's the Ramban's kasha. The Ramban isn't based on that, but then I tried to say that.
She says also, so I believe, and he said, and he explained it. What was really pshat? Why a Peshosa doesn't help you? Because he learns in the Mishnah, Ne'emoni means I rip the shtab. So he made it, and was I don't rip the shtab. But then a Peshosa, we'll leave it alone, even a Kotra Bachoma, Maskoma. Pshat and Rashi. How do you explain the first Rashi? First Rashi understood even a Peshosa, I rip the shtab. And that changed. The first one was a Peshosa, I believe, and I rip the shtab. And the second pshat is the Peshosa Peshit is not enough to rip the shtab. But in the Chonami, I just leave it alone. Who says he argued this Yisrael? He could, but the Pashas is arguing. Because Rashi doesn't talk about it, according to Maskona or whatever.
Because neither Rashi nor Ramban says anything about ripping the shtab. So I don't know why are you talking about ripping the shtab.
Rashi says, they believe what? They believe in the words and you don't rip the shtab? And they believe in the words and you don't collect? Or they believe in the words and you rip the shtab? See, there's the answer of Rosh. What was the Ramban's kasha? So I like what you said, Abel. We're going to have to deal with Rashi and Maskona how it works. But, Lemaise, the question should be, Vika Lemeidak. According to Rachomim, that says that's our Mishnah. That I believe in the nation, but there's no extra that I believe in. So the kashi is, if they say they're Maiseresha, so the Maiseresha, you don't believe them, they're showing. You don't listen, hear the testimony. So therefore, what about a Peshosa? Peshosa is not enough for us. For some reason, or because we want to rip the shtar, there's not enough to rip the shtar. Or somehow, the Rosh Peshosa doesn't work like the second Rabbi Choma says. We don't know what second Rabbi Choma says, unclear. The second Rabbi Choma says that an Reisha is Machmas Nefoshes, but it's Machmas Mama what I do, and also Mesirat is Rosh. Okay, what about Peshosa? We don't relate, that's our first question. It's not clear what's the answer. So you have two options. Or that somehow another Mesirat Rosh knocks out the Peshosa too. Or no, it doesn't knock it out, but it's not our subject, because he understood the moments of the Mishnah means to rip the shtar. And a Peshosa will just leave the shtar, not to be ripped, not to be collected, but not to rip. There's two options to learn what Rambam is saying. In the Ramban is kasha against Rashi, it's easier to learn like Rebel said, that really understood that according to Maskona, whenever means that could be this a Peshosa, but I believe means Rabbana means I rip the shtar. So no one's going to, how can I rip the shtar if they say no Rosh?
You see, in the Maskana, Rashi grabbed off Masach Mekubi. He doesn't have Masach Mekubi. So therefore, he's not, I don't know.
Nothing to do with it. There's no concept. When Rashi's end of the Mesi Ma'atzim Rosh, he says, Machmas Momoy, in the same way, the Malik says, Atzor Cheskos, the Poseleidus. Good, Poseleidus. But why? So why does it what about a Peshosa? How was it he said, Rabbi Moshe Shausha said that's not false kasha. Now in the answer we have two options in theory. Depends on the two answers. One would say that somehow if a person makes use of Rosh, it even breaks the Peshosa for some reason. The Peshosa. Or, right, even the Peshosa, basically doesn't even hear him, like the Kiva wants to say, I don't even hear him. They don't hear when the person says he's a Rosh, they don't hear the Kivega says the words and basically then showing him the Divayim. They don't even hear the words. He did such a Maiseresha. We don't hear that he did it.
So Mika doesn't help you.
So Mika won't help because it doesn't start. There's one way to say it. The second way to answer it, no. That really, if if they say Anusi Machmas Momoy, and they made themselves Rashoyim, there's still a Peshosa. Mitzad Einos and Amnim, Mitzad Peshosa. So they're not believed to rip the Shah, but they believe not to collect with the Shah. But the second of Machon understood, Ne'emoni means to rip the Shah. That's what he said, it's only Machmas Nefoshes. Then I can rip the Shah. Machmas Momoy, I cannot rip the Shah, but I don't collect because the Peshosa, somehow knocks out the Peshosa totally. For some reason, we gives an answer. There's ways, there's two ways to answer. Now we're learning now, let's read the Ramban's Kash. The Ramban, according to Rashi, that says Psuli, Misachi Bekubia, means that they did an action of wickedness.
That means that Peshosa is not a din in
Pesho, according to this answer,
you just said.
Yes.
That I don't have Eidos, but I have Peshosa. So Peshosa is not a din in
Lichoira.
Even though it seems that.
Yeah, no, I'm saying.
It's Eidos, that's.
No, that's a belief, it's like a migu.
That's the point of being for.
Right, it's proof.
It is Eidos. Like Rashi said.
Where Rashi says is Eidos?
The Eidim Shalomru.
In Hanami, but the Peshosa part says is Eidos. Where do you see that?
I don't
see that. That I don't know, so I have two options. But if what happened, our problem is in the same talk, in the same breath, I say Eidos, which I'm saying I'm wicked, but I also have a Peshosa. Two ways I don't look at it. The Eidos I'm throw out, but the proof of a Peshosa is still there. I have. So we have a problem. Why by Nomo in the Golden Bahama says, ain't no money, because of the but still there's a Peshosa here. That was the problem of that floor. Two ways to answer. In theory, I'm not going into depths now. Two ways to answer. It's all you're right. The question is a good question, you're right. But Ron Bachon understood Ne'emonim of the Mishnah, Ne'emonim, which Ne'emonim means to rip the Shah. And the rip the Shah is only Eidos. A Peshosa means I don't collect with it, because I have a proof against it. But I don't rip it. Ne'emonos of Eidim, so Roma says, if they say Machmas Nefoshes, so I believe Mitzad Eidos and I rip the Shah. Machmas Momoy, I know because I'm Rosh, so if I don't rip the Shah, they don't come out about Peshosa, so I don't collect with it. That's one way to answer Shat and Ron Bachon and Maskora. Another way to answer is no. Ron Bachon understood that if witnesses said that we're wicked, Basin just doesn't hear them anymore. Because they said, not some wicked. They said we did a Maisa wickedness. We did a Maisa of Aveila. We are Nusimach Maslomai. So therefore, when they say Nusimach Maslomai did a Maisa Aveila, so therefore Basin doesn't believe them anymore. They're not eating. They're not believing. So therefore there's no Peshosa. A Peshosa means I believe him in this, I believe him in that. I cannot believe him anymore. Because this Maisa is Maisa Gesha. So it's not, Basin doesn't even hear them. And therefore the Peshosa will fall off somehow. To be explained, but there's no way to say like that. Somehow. It's hard. That's a way to say like that. So now we go back to the Ramban. The Ramban is going on the Mishnah. The Mishnah says in the Reisha that Eidim that said that we were Psul Eidos, there's our handwriting, we were Psul Eidos, they believed. And Rashi says, which type of Psul Eidos we're talking about? They were Mesachim Bekubia. Comes the Ramban and he says, why? If you say Mesachim Bekubia, you say you did it by Segasha, you're a Rasha. And you cannot believe, you're not believe anymore to say Eidos. That's a Skasha. If he said he's a relative, see, he's not a Rasha. Could be a Shoygin, he knows he's a relative, whether it can be accepted. It's not a mean of Maisa Eshem, it's not a Kuba, it's a Maisa Aveya. A relative, it's not a Maisa, it's a relative. So don't listen what I'm saying, but I'm not saying I'm a Rasha. So if they said the Mesachim Bekuba are Rasha, so therefore you cannot accept the Eidos totally. That's what we went to the Ramban's Kasha. Why? That's the Kasha. According to the Rashi, they're explaining Psul Eidos means Mesachim Bekuba, so why Chachamim believe them when there's En Ksav Yod like the Reisha? If there's no, I believe them, the Mishnah says I believe them, So the Kasha Rama, why I believe them? They said they're Hashoyim. Like Momorim, the Rama says, I don't believe them.
No, but if
Same idea. Because they say they're Russia.
you don't believe them, if you have a migu, you believe. He said,
What?
when they have a migu, you do believe them. By moment, you do believe them.
So we have a Kasha and Ramban. What's the Ramban's Kasha? Why I believe him? I believe them even though they said they were because of Pesha Osana. That was a Kasha we had in the Ramban's Kasha.
Not as a.
Now it's 80. So I'm saying the same answer we answering to Rabban Chomo, the last Rabban Chomo, that he says in the Mishnah, the Anusi means Nefoshes. But Momoim is out because of Rosho. So he said, why they out? It's to a Peshosa. That same Kasha we have in Rabban Chomo, and Momoim, we have the same Kasha on this Ramban. This Kasha, what's this Kasha? This Kasha is a Pesach, the Kubya, they're showing right. They're showing, but they believe it's on a Peshosa, not it's on a Eidos. The answer is, a Peshosa is out somehow, or we don't, because we're not talking about Peshosa, and then we to rip the shop. That's one option. Or second option is,
no, but Rashi doesn't.
We are talking about a Peshosa, but we throw it out, because we're showing you don't, Peshosa doesn't hear at all. That answer, the second answer is very hard, because only the Pekivega says that only when he did a Meiser Resha of Anusi Machmas Momoin, I signed with a Resha. But when I went to play in another house, or years before, to Las Vegas on a trip, and I didn't chew yet, and then I signed the shop, it's two different Meisim. So you can't say Pesha doesn't hear me. It's a psul. To say that this Meiser of this shah was done the Meiser of Resha, you can say Pesha doesn't listen. She can even throw out somehow that Peshosa. There's a sword to say like that.
Thank you, work.
But here is very hard to see this sword.
Why not?
Because here it's another story. Here there were the Psul Eidos, the Messiah of Kuna before, and then they signed. So it's not a Psul. So okay, so don't believe me as anyone. But what Psul is a Peshosa.
Exactly.
If you say that this Meiser was done of a Meiser Resha, this Meiser of this Eidos is the Eidos of Resha. So basically, close the ears, they don't hear the Eidos, you can say they don't hear Peshosa. You can say it's small like this. Maybe. Give it a guys. Back and forth.
Rashi will say that. Small like Kivega.
It's very hard to say that.
Rashi will say that.
I say, even when I say Kivega, what do you want to say?
Why not? Rashi can say that.
It still doesn't help.
Rashi can say that.
Even if you would say this, it still
Yes.
doesn't help because Rashi in the Maskana drops Musach Kubra, drops it out. He doesn't.
Oh, we don't know yet. I don't know yet what that was.
The bad Rashi.
I know this Rashi, but I don't know why.
No, but anyhow, the Ramban can't ask a kasha on Rashi for.
Could be Lavdavka. You can say Rashi either dropped it on Lavdavka. He added Avodim, he added relatives and slaves. First of all, he didn't like Messiah of Kuba, but he added slaves. Say Lavdavka. You can say like that. You can say it's Davka. We said something. Okay, I don't know.
Why you cannot say Rashi?
But I'll tell you that my problem is not that. My problem is that I jumped the gun. I want to do it in stages. Most of the book knows that a word I'm saying I'm almost sure. Because I didn't want to do this. I wanted to be the second part of the class. We jump. People don't know well. When I'm talking about the cloud, I wanted to be focused on just the first part. Okay, so let's go back to us on our first part of the mission. Okay, let's make a reset. Reboot. Let's go back to our simple shot in the mission. The mission says, if witnesses come and say on the shot, which is not Mekuyo, this is our handwriting, but we were anusim k'tanim psuleius. So Rashi says one of the cases of psuleius, Rashi says, when Messiah Mekuyo, the Ramban has a kasha on this. What was this kasha? Either Messiah Mekuyo, they made him some Rashoyim, so they're not 80. Why you believe him?
Why you don't think he made?
And therefore he says, one second, therefore he says, you have to say the second pshat, the relatives. What relatives? What do you gain by saying the relatives? What's the difference if I'm saying I'm a Sakha Bekubya or I'm a relative? Either way, I'm not an aid. I'm an aid person. Wasn't even an aid person because I'm a relative, or I'm an aid person because I'm a Sakha Bekubya. It's a very difference. Very major difference. If I'm saying I'm an aid person means then I'm I'm saying a story. Then I was a relative. I couldn't give it an edus, even though I'm saying the truth. But I was the Torah knocked me out because I'm a relative. So it doesn't mean the story didn't happen. The story happened. There's not a problem. There's a psul. There was a cancellation, a bug in my testimony, but the story happened. So therefore, I'm saying the story happened, but I had a problem. So therefore, I can listen to what I'm saying. Basically, can listen to what I'm saying. But what I'm saying, I was wicked. I was a rasha. There's a rule. A man cannot make himself rasha. So really, what happened is they're not believed. They're not believed. If they will say no relatives, so they're not saying there's no eidos, there's eidos koivo. Eidos koivo has to be eidos, but it's a koiv. And I'm saying Marosho, he's saying no, the makes not Marosho, so they're not believed. So that's the Rambam's Kash. Rambam's Kash is why Rashi pushed in Psula eidos beside the Kura Rosho. If they're Rosho, they're not believed. They're not believed not Marosho. They're not believed inside the eidos part. What about a Peshosa? Maybe also that knocks it out. Not really part of his kasha. His kasha is that when he's a Rosho, he cannot give Eidos, and also he cannot give a Peshosa. But when he's a relative, neither can also Na'acher Shekoivi. The first answer is Koivim Lavdafka means we're relative and I'm still a relative. So if I'm still a relative, how can I speak now? I'm saying, right, I'm a relative. And then I was a relative, and therefore what? Don't validate the shot. I'm believed to say that I was a relative and I'm still a relative. No, it says Lavdafka. That's the second answer. But the first answer is Lavdafka. I know Lavdafka, and they're still relatives. See, and the saying when I'm saying I'm a relative, it's Eidos, but Eidos Psula. See, what is the subject of the Ramban? The Ramban subject is why he's believing it's an Eidos when he says the Rosh is not an Eid. But the Koivim is an Eid Koiv. Okay, so you believe it as an Eid Koiv. You believe me to say I'm an Eid Koiv.
He's a brother. He's a brother.
What?
He's a brother. He's a brother. He's going to stay a brother.
No, that's true. But if a brother can say that's what happened, the brother says there was a loan.
Naima sounds like it was, but isn't now.
Right, but the first sentence is Lavdafka. Ainu Lavdafka means that though we're relative, we're also not relative. So therefore, what we believe.
The second answer is stop. We were now not because it's profitable.
That's the second answer. The first answer says, let's talk about this answer. Lavdafka. We were relatives then or relative till now? Right? So can I speak? Can I say Neidos? I'm a relative, I'm a brother.
Do I have a pen?
I have a pen? What's he saying? Or we jumped a Peshosa. He says, really understood that the belief here is a Peshosa, like Rashi says. It's a Peshosa. But if it's a Rasha knocks out the Peshosa. Not only knocks out the Eidos, knocks out the Peshosa for some reason. In the Machmas Momo, I understand why knocks out, like Kibbutz says, he doesn't hear. So I'm a Rasha. The Sachem Bekubio, have to say the same thing. Basically doesn't hear me. Even though this mice, there was a story before. Somehow, the Ramban understood that it knocks me out, and therefore basically doesn't hear me. Bechlal, not mitzvah Eidos, not mitzvah Peshosa. But if I'm saying I'm a relative, so I didn't say I'm a bring my Seresha, so there's no Eidos, but it's still a Peshosa. So he made his answer is Koivim. Now, I'm still a Koiv, but not at the side point. But the difference in essence between relatives and Rasha is not mitzad the edus. Both of them are not good edus. It's a peshosa. And that's what he's learning. And let's see what he answers for Rashi. But the Divrei Rashi, Zal, Ikele Meima, the Keivan, the Isur of the Rabbanonu, since a rabbinic Isur, Mishum, Shein Oisek Bishur Shaloi Meima. He's saying Rashi chose in Mesacheh B'Kumash as a rabbinic prohibition, and therefore a person is believed to say he was an Isur de Rabbanon. Because he's not learning stealing. It's not a smach for stealing, because when I steal in the Rabbanon, there's a stealing d'oraisa. But the problem is like the Rambam, I'm not a person that deals with the settlement of the world. I'm playing around, I'm a hippie, and I say shalom alone. So therefore to say I was a hippie then, I believe. It was only Isur de Rabbanon. So therefore I believe. By saying, says not only to say I was a relative, I'm believed. Also to say I did Isur de Rabbanon, I believe in what? Believed in the Amonus of Eidus, or believed in a Peshosa? I'm saying the continuation, believe in a Peshosa. והרב רבי יוסף הלוי דאי מיגש, כוסף, דקייבן דלא יאמר שקר יאמרו, לא משהו נפשי רשויים. Since they didn't say we testify lies, Keivan delo amri sheker amru. Since they didn't say it was false, they didn't say we testify false, was no law. No matter they didn't say there's no law. They just said we're playing a dice. This was a law. No matter says the number is so wicked. שגם הפרס הוא שאילו בו על עצור אינו בוהם שהריחוזו בהם. They don't say that we were wicked. There was a law. There was a law. If they say the action, the law was an action of wickedness, we were forced for money, so we did an action of wickednesses, so then it's not showing, there's no pressure, so there's no hate, there's nothing. But if they say, like we said, we said, but if I said that I was playing a dice, that's the Imigash. My friend says, see, the Imigash says this chiluk. The Imigash says, if they said that they did it alone for money, for some money, a Meiser Esha, so therefore I don't believe them. So I don't believe them. There's not no moments or no Eidus. No Eidus is not Peshosa. But if they said those are all, just we had a problem that time, we were gamblers. And we did tshuva that little problem, a side problem. He says, "Shegam apasu shidu boy al atzom eino bohem." It's not in them. Shayechosu, but we retracted. V'nimtza she'ein niga meiduzu shidu akshu ki reshoyim oyu bazu ha'eidus. In this eino not reshoyim, that is reshoyim in history, in the resume, but not in this meiser of naksad oikir all eidus. Sharebei mesidu. That's what he says. So he says, Rashi learned that there's a difference between Anusi Machmas Momoim that we knock out even after Peshosa, because there it's the Meiser Esha, and Rashi learns not like the Ramban learned, but similar. Meiser Esha or Anusi Roshos too, you know, basically doesn't hear me somehow. That's why there's a kasha, but he's saying no, the Rimiga says no. Here, when they're not saying those are loaned by force means there's no law. They said there was a law, which were relatives. There was a law. Just we had a problem that we solved. We had a history. We had a history problem of playing, drinking, playing, gambling, all those ones. And we went through a rehab to AAA, and we got out of it.
It's like testifying on someone else.
What?
It's like testifying on someone else. It's a new person.
No person, but the Eidus, they're not saying there's a problem, it's an Eidus. And therefore, what? Therefore I believe the Eidus or there's a Peshosa. I think therefore there's a Peshosa. Comes the Ramban and he begs the issue against the Rimigash. I don't know what he's talking. Very hard language. Means I don't know what he's talking. It's very strong language. I don't know what he's talking about. אין יודע מה הוא סך. דו אנוסים היינו מחמס מומוי נמי. אנוסים היינו מחמס מומוי ברחומו. Also. דילמו עכשיו חוסר איננה they retracted. ולא יעשו מוי לא נדון anymore. Umali and him is showing he said, I want to knock on the chiluk of the imigash. What do I care if the wicked Mahmas Eidos do because of this Eidos? Or showing Mahmasis Acher, although our problem in history. But they're wicked. But the imigash and Rashi would learn what? Like in Hegel. When they're showing on this mice, the place doesn't hear them. There's no Peshosa even. But when it's a history, and there was a long read, I'm saying there's a long, so therefore, you don't believe me, because I'm wicked at that time, but there's still a Peshosa, because I'm saying the story was a story. And therefore, Peshosa.
No, but the Rebbe guy say Kazlu by him.
What?
Not like the Rabbi Kilev, because he say, the Rebbe guy say Kazlu by him. It's like they need tshuva.
Mitzad is a tshuva, right? But Mitzad is a tshuva, that was a side point. But since the Etzem Eidos was Eidos, and Esau he understood, and Ramban understood that he's saying that there's an Eidos. When I say I did tshuva on Esau, on my history of gambling, but there was a real loan, so therefore I'm never mitzad Eidos and loan. And therefore what? And therefore I believe to say, Anusimaynu, like a Peshosa. That's what he learned. And he says no. Always when I say, even when I say Anusi Machmas Momoim, why don't Baruch say Anusi Machmas Momoim Ne'esh, according to the Maskona?
The Hadamim of Rabbi Bachon.
No, the Maskona.
No, but he doesn't say Machmas Momoim. He doesn't say the Mishnah is Machmas Momoim, according to the Maskona.
According to the Deen.
But he's not talking.
The Anusi Machmas Momoim Navi, which Anusi Machmas Momoim? Of the Eisha, because he's talking about relegation, that's the subject matter of the Ramban.
He believes or not believe?
It's not believed.
No, but the Mishnah is saying.
Not believe, because Rabbi Bachon says in the Maskona, the Mephoshas they believe. Mama not believes. He said not believe. Why not? Dilma Akshav Chosu B'hem. V'lo Yasu Lo'ilo. U'mali Neshem Achmasei Dezu. Izrages Kedreken Lemifrin Dibur B'ho. Okay. You have to learn this Ramban well again. And now we're going to start the first Rabbi Bachon and second Rabbi Bachon. Please see. I will hear you in a second. Please see the Ramban, the full Ramban.
Which one?
The first Chidush Ramban, the first paragraph.
Okay.
See it very well, and I want to deal with the kasha of the Afro.
The kasha
of the Afro, what I raised here, what about the Peshosa? How the fact that Marosho knocks me out of Peshosa? This is a very basic question here.
Where's the Afro?
Who asked this question? Ramban asked this question. What's his answer? The Afro?
Where's the Afro?
It'll be printed.
It will be printed?
Yeah, we'll be printed. There's other shit. Learn the Kivega well, unfortunately, on this first page. This was only a preface for this one. What do you want to say to Yoshua?
I'm wondering with trade with trade, how we can say there's trade with trade if we say that there's not heirs because Malchus was.
Trade with trade is not an Eidos? No.
How can we say trade? Ruach HaKodesh nowadays. Do we have Ruach HaKodesh nowadays? You hear this Moshe Yosef Spark? Do I have Ruach HaKodesh? I'm not joking. There is Ruach HaKodesh today or not? That's the question of the day. So let's start with the Gemara Babasa. The Gemara Babasa says that when the temple was destroyed, the Nevuah has been taken away. There's no more Nevuah, there's no more prophecy. Mishachora based on the base on base. Mishachora Beis Hamikdash, Botol Nebuah, Misra. No, I bring the Ramban. I want to say the Ramban. This is the Ramban. The Gemara says, in Bava Basra, page 12b, that's how I said, the subject matter is Ruach HaKodesh to the Orah. So they're starting with the Gemara in Bava Basra, page 12b. The Gemara in Bava Basra says, Daf Yud Beis Amud Beis. Gemara says, a story. Here. The Gemara says, Omar Rabbi Yochanan, Miyoim Shechor Beis Hamikdash, from the day the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, Nitlo Nevuah min HaNeviim. Prophecy being taken away from the prophets. V'nitno l'shoitim v'letinoikos. They gave it to crazy people. There's a lot of crazy people around here on the other side. V'tinoikos and little kids. La Shoitim Ma'i was a story of Shoitim. The Gemara brings a story. Ki od Amar Baravashi David Koi Berasteka de Mechoiza. Amar Baravashi, he was the Rosh Yeshiva. But before he became Rosh Yeshiva, he was in this place called Rasteka de Mechoiza. It's a market, public market. Mechoiza city, he was in the public market of the city Mechoiza. Abba Ravashi, master of the son of Ravashi. His father was Ravashi. Master, you know who's the author of this Gemara? Abba Ravashi. Ma'abrei de Ravin and Abba Ravashi, they were the authors of the Talmud Bavli. Big man. But before he became Rosh Yeshiva, he was in the public market. Shameh lahu shoita. You heard this crazy guy in Michigan. You know about it, right? The Kohamar, he said, Reish Mesifte Demolich Bemata Mechasya. The Rosh Yeshiva that was going to become a king, or Rosh Yeshiva like a king, in a city called Mata Mechasya, Tivyume Chosim. When he signed his handwriting, when he signs a shah, or he signed a document, he signs his name Tivyume. Tivyume, that's his name. Omar Samaba Rashi says, hey. Man Chosim Tivyume Benabano. You make a Google search, all the rabbis in my days, who signs, when he signs, he writes the word Tivyume. There's only one guy. I know. I'm the guy. I'm the one that I signed my name Tivyume. And this crazy guy said, who's going to be the Rosh Yeshiva of Tivyume? He signs his name Tivyume. It's me. And Michigan has said, you are the Rosh Yeshiva. Come on. Take it serious. Shema mino letidi kaimli shata. Must be that the moment is for me. I have the spiritual moment, the spiritual abundance, and I'm going to be the Rosh Yeshiva. Come also. He went to the city of Mata Mechasya. Until he came, he traveled. The rabbis wanted to put Rav Achim to be the Rosh Yeshiva. Rav Rabash was a great rabbi. He's not around. There's a rabbi here around. We put him around to be Rosh Yeshiva. Came on the Shamidos, but they heard Mamash is coming. How can I put this rabbi on when Mamash is coming around? They send two rabbis to get advice with him. What do you say? We should put this rabbi on or not?
Who asked advice? Who?
They asked Ravashi that was traveling to them, so they sent quickly to greet him and get advice. Can we put Ravashi Midifta to become the Rosh Yeshiva? Akve, he prevented them from going back. Just stay with me. Okay, stay with me. So then the rabbi said another two rabbis. A zug means He prevented it from going back. 5 times. 5 times they sent. And so when they happened, 10 times with him, what happens? When he had 10 rabbis with him, cave on the Momi Basoro, Posachu Vetono Vedorash. If I don't open a new yeshiva of Basoro, is this the yeshiva now right now? Tono Vedorash. Why Lefishen Poischim Bekalo Pochis Masoro? Because you don't make a drosh in public as a grand opening less than 10. Kori Ravacha Nafshoi, Kol HaMerim Loi Lo B'Meir U'Metivim Loi, V'Kol HaMetivim Loi Lo B'Merim Loi. See, I lost a moment and he became Rosh Yeshiva. So the Gemara brings down that Nevuah is being taken away from the prophets who was given to crazy people or to little kids. There is a story of little kids, not our point.
Did you ask about Rav?
Comes the Ramban. And the Ramban says, although the Ramban here in Bombas of his own base, the Ramban says, although if I had a Ramban here, I would rather read it inside. If you can bring the Ramban right away, there's a Ramban here. Forget about it. Bombas of his base. The Ramban is good to read it inside. It's very important, very powerful. It's very powerful. And I decided to speak about it in the beginning of this month because you should learn the Chashivus. Who can you be? Who you are. Who you are. You're learning Torah in Yeshiva. Who you are. After this Ramban, you'll find out who you are. You don't have, we have Ramban. Okay, if not, I'll say about it. I'd rather read the words inside because it's very powerful.
I get what you just said.
You can become Baal Ruach HaKodesh even today. You, Rabbi Ponak. Yeah. You could.
You mean I don't have it yet?
We'll see. After the Ramban, you tell me you have it.
Are those two things one and the same now?
You don't have Ramban, okay, I'll say about it.
Is the Nevuah the same as...
No. Ramban says, Nevuah, Chol Beis HaMikdash, the Nevuah is being taken away. Which Nevuah? Oh. Okay. Comes the Ramban.
It's like, what's the definition of Shote?
Gemara in Chagiga says Shote, it can be 3 things. One thing is Sopek, but normally means he sleeps in Beis Kvois, he gives him money, he throws it away. There's 3 things he has to do in order to become a Shote Vadai. One of them was a Sopek.
Not in a rock, that's a kid, right?
Okay. The Ramban says as follows. I'm reading the Ramban.
Not the rock, that means it's afraid.
What?
You don't know the difference between not the rock.
No, yes, that's what it is. Pirish Rashi. I'm reading the Ramban. Pirish Rashi Zal, if you base, I would base. Miyoshecho Beis HaMikdash nitnu Nevuah v'Neviim min ha'chachomim lo nitla. Pirish Rashi, Afal pi shenitlu ben ha'nevoim she'einom chachomim. He says there's prophets who are not rabbis, not chachomim, so they have been taken away. But if those people are chachomim, there's not taken away.
It was never taken away.
Never taken away. This is the Rashi, Nevuah, Rashi. The Yesh Loshi, boy, the Ramban says doesn't agree to that. It says the Gemara in the Torim, En HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mashke Shchinosoi, Ela Al Chochom Gibur Voshi. V'yesh Yeshivu, that those who answer, She'en HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mashke Shchinosoi V'lo Hefsek Ela Al Chochom. This view. And Navi, he can have Nevuah for some times. But constant, it's only if you're a Chacham. Aval Navi Sheshlichus, a prophet which only has a specific mission, can go in Nevuah Tzorna Ben Amisai, בשליחוס נדמה שהוא לפי שור, משרה ושכינוסוי אף על חסידים שאינם חכם. כאן said Novi, Yecheskel, Yeshayahu, those Nevi'im, they have to be Talmid HaChacham. So they have to be a Novi, can't say, have to be a Talmid Chacham. But a spot Novi can be if there is a Shlichus. A specific Shlichus. She can have Nevi'us when you're Chosid, even though you're not a Chacham.
And even today.
Yes. Comes the Ramban says, Ve'ein da'ati nocha. I don't agree to this. My mind is not settled with this. El achi koma. This is the famous Ramban. El achi koma. Afal pi even though shenitlo nevuas hanevim shu ha'mareh v'achazon. The prophecy is being taken away. Which prophecy? Which is a scenery and a vision. A scenery and a vision, it's gone. No more. So amare v'achazon. Mare means you can see, and chazon you can envision. Nevuas hachachomim, this is here Rabbi Yosef. Prophecy of wise rabbis. She bederech hachachma, and it's a way of understanding of wisdom. It's not a vision, and it's not a scenery. It's a way of wisdom. She bederech hachachma. It's in a way of wisdom. Lo yitlo was not being taken away. Ela, rather, there's a famous words. I heard a pshat of my Rebbe, Rabbi Hirsch. What he said pshat here? Ela yoidim ha'emes. They know the truth. Beruach HaKodesh, with the Holy Spirit, shebekirbo, inside of it. This is what he says. He says that Mare v'chozoim, scenery and a vision, that's been taken away. But a different type of prophecy, a prophecy which is in a way of wisdom, was not being taken away. Rather, they know, Yoidim Oemes, they know the truth. Ruach HaKodesh, or Holy Spirit, that's in them. So my Rebbe said, they have a clear feeling and knowledge that this is the truth. That's what we're going to be. He used the word feelings. There is a video that my son-in-law's brother, he took out his seifers on this rabbi. He is a big rabbi. Was an Admon in Muncie. His name was the Richnitz Rebbe, or something like that. Richnitz. What? Rivnitz Rebbe. I was in his grave. My brother told me amazing stories about him. His mamish Pila Prois. He had miracles day and night around him.
He finished 101 time shots.
Okay, so it's a chacham. So they asked the Moshe Hirsch, is it true that there is Ruach HaKodesh nowadays? He said, yes. He said, the Ramban says. He didn't say where, but there's the Ramban. The Ramban says, but not a nevuah of Mare v'chazon, rather, Yodim ha'emes. They know, they have a feeling and knowledge of Yediyah, they have Yediyahs of truth. In their hachom, in the way of wisdom, Shebekir. And I want to say a story that I heard last week. I had it last week here, a family that came and rented the place here, Ben Azman. So the brother-in-law, a friend of the family was here, told me a story that happened with him. His wife was in labor, giving birth, and the doctor said, listen, she has this problem, she must operate. Not operate, the baby too. She ran, he was in my night, it's a hospital in Bnei Brak. It's about 10 minutes away from where Brakaneski used to live. She went to Brakaneski early morning, he davened 6 o'clock. He went, And they want to know to operate, but after it's minutes, he has to say right now. So he came to Frank Kanevsky was davening Shmon Esrei. He finished Shmon Esrei with somebody behind him. And this guy behind him was davening long. And Frank Kanevsky already finished davening, but he couldn't speak. And he couldn't voice a shalom because somebody's behind him. And this guy didn't wait, and he screamed at the rabbi, my wife is pikuach nefesh, she's on labor. I want to know, I should do this operation, this is the problem, I should operation or not. I can see, didn't answer. Can't speak, have somebody behind me. It's pikuach nefesh. Now people start to scream in the synagogue, and this guy, what are you davening on? The other verse, make your shalom. Finish the davening. The guys in the tax were hearing outside, the whole show was in pressure. But the guy was bedaf, they scream, they have to do more. He starts crumbling his mind, his face stronger, and he's davening longer, because he wants to have it. When he finished, he said, my man shows, go to the hospital, whatever they tell you to do, means to operate. Whatever you need to do, whatever they tell you to do. So the guy runs to the taxi. How can I see calls him back? His heart starts shaking. He says, don't worry, until you're going to come there, she'll give birth. A good child, a healthy child. He says, if he said, don't worry, before I come there, she'll give birth. As quick as I get there, she has to give birth before. And it will be solved. So he told the taxi car, I'm red, just run there. In 5 minutes he came to the hospital. He came to the room, he runs, he gets in the room. When he gets in the room, the doctor comes out, she just gave birth to a baby and he was healthy. Healthy baby. So the son of Reb Kanevsky asked Reb Kanevsky, what happened here? What changed? I mean, a Novi, what's going on? How can you say such a thing? So Reb Kanevsky said, when the guy was behind me davening, I prayed in my heart that he wouldn't need my bracha. Wouldn't need my bracha. Because I can't talk to him, so I said, please Hashem, give whatever he needs, Hashem should give her a bracha, that he doesn't need my bracha. When I finished Shmon Esrei, I knew. How does he know? The language. Yoidim, I am the Shebek, Shebek, and Kibom. They know the truth. They know I am this. This is the emes. It's not it. They know. How can he say that? How can he have the audacity? It's audacity. He says, I know. How does he know? He knows. Nevo, b'ma'ala b'chazan be taken away. B'yedias ha'emes shebekirbo. Knowing the truth with the word of Shigiyum doesn't change, it still exists. It still exists. And nowadays, you go to Africa, you have all those people, there's two prophets around. The Christians have a lot of prophets there. They start jumping, the prophets. Sometimes they make it, and they big bullseye, sometimes they shoot right or wrong. But they have a whole industry of prophecy.
You're not to make a profit.
Right. To make a profit. Right. So, like I say, Kabbalah, I'll give you a receipt. So the bottom line is, went away. The Chazon was the vision and now is gone. But the Chochmah will flow through a way of wisdom. What does that mean? Which wisdom? He didn't see a vision, she gave birth, everything's okay. No vision. There's truth inside of him. Well, I couldn't even in the way of wisdom. They know the truth, so you have to say, don't worry. In other words, before you go there, she'll give birth. I'm saying all this, I was saying at the beginning of this month, that people should give the value of what we doing here, who we are. And some big Talmid Chachamim with Tzaddikim, Hasidim, so they had this rock of being constant. But you see, Reb Kanevsky, when he was davening and still waiting. He didn't have the Ruach HaKodesh. So plainish, when he finished, you have this the keyboard, you do this, and the keyboard, he said, these are true. And that exists till today. This exists till today by Talmidei Chachomim, learners of Torah Shulim, the Hasidim, the learn Torah day and night, the all about Torah, they have the idea. It's very important to understand this. That's not been taken away. They know the truth where the Holy Spirit is in there. Wow. This is what we teach here. This is what you can get. That's not our goal, but it gives you the value of what you're doing. It's now that Hashem took away the Nevuah, it's all gone, we finish, it's all Bogameister and stories. No. Ruach HaKodesh exists for today. This type of Nevuah exists for today. There are those tzaddikim, Talmidei Chachomim, that learn Torah day and night, and Tzidkus, the Chasidus, all their life. They have the Yoidim Ha'emes, B'derech HaChochma, Ruach HaKodesh B'kibom. It exists, and it's been seen by many big tzaddikim, Talmidei Chachomim. You can see it a lot. You can tell a lot of stories. I can tell you a story I heard 2.5 weeks ago about the Rebbe. The story I heard from Yochanan Weiner. Baruch Hashem, after I say in public, we had a big nest, and I succeeded to pay the government. Baruch Hashem. Nes Gadol had 2 miracles, a lot of miracles. One miracle was that there was a guy that was in yeshiva a couple of years ago, a rich man, but not a real rich man, maybe a couple of $1 million, not a real rich man, but he has some money. And he was an accountant, and he made some kind of, with a company, he made a deal with them that they had a big problem. He said, I won't work on the problem, he's a CPA, I will work on your tax problems, and he's going to be a partner in the business. Okay? So somebody referred me to him, maybe he asked him to borrow money from him, because this was a week before Pesach, and I know when Pesach comes in, I cannot talk to no one. And the week after Pesach, I have to pay the 19th. Now we're holding what? 23, 24, 25? I don't know exactly what's the date. What's the date? 23. 4 days ago I have to pay it. I said, there's no chance if I don't pay it before Pesach. So I said, okay, I'm going to start borrowing money from the bank. The bank wasn't enough. I needed another $760,000 was missing. Besides after the bank, even if I get in the bank, whatever it is, a couple of million shekels. What to do? So I said, can you borrow money? He said, somebody go. So I said, can you borrow me? He lent me, my wife asked him, can you lend us $20,000? $20,000, doesn't owe me. He's a rich man. All right, everyone, lend me $20,000. So he asked, he says, put your husband on the line. I was somewhere else. And he puts me on the line and he says, where are you? He's asking the question. I says, I'm not in Israel. Well, means he probably understood what to know was a war. I said, yeah, there's a war. My wife's in Israel. And he says, how much money do you need? I said, listen, I'm going to borrow this and this. I need $400,000. I didn't know exactly the number to say. Is it too big of a number? Too small of a number? It was to lend me money? What's he saying? I said, come out of my mouth, $400,000. Says, you should know. 2 weeks ago, I got a check of $30 million from this business he did with the accountant. $30 million. And himself, you know what to do with the money because he has to pay taxes. So he made a foundation. But he never gave out no money out of the foundation. He says, you know what, I'll make a test case right now. I make a transfer of $5,000. If it goes through, and I see you have a tax deductible to my finally it's a CPA, and I want to see the paper is full. Next day, tomorrow, I'll give you another $395,000. I said, I should have asked $1 million. No. I said, Mina Shamayim, whatever came out of my mouth, Mina Shamayim, sure enough, he sent me the $5,000, and next day he sent $395,000. But while, the list is not finished, while I'm trying to call this and that, to try to find where I'll get the rest of the money, there was somebody there that's seeing me and my wife trying to fundraise the money and borrow money. Says, you know what? I have money in savings. I'll give you another $360,000. You do with me this, whatever it is with me, something with me, tax, whatever it is, solve his tax problem because he's losing investment. And every month give me $10,000 back for free. No, heavies, no nothing. And then one day we got all the money. We were able to pay. At about we got the loan of the bank, about $1 million we borrowed from the bank. But we paid everything in a few days, and we paid the money for the government. It was $6.7 million check. Oh Hashem. So I could thank Hashem. So I was thinking to myself retroactively. I spoke to me and my wife. I'm not jumping out to the Muslim that we had. Yediyah Sahem is that Vada would come the money, not because it is. I know the schools of the yeshiva coming, but the point was we have two options. Few guys who give all the money, or 2,500 people who give the money. You know how many people donated to the yeshiva? We got 2,500 people who give money. 2,500, they're still giving money. Because I borrowed money to pay it back. I borrowed almost one of those. Whatever, altogether, maybe 6-7 million shekels. So, in this gadol, 2,500 Jews participating to acquire the land of the yeshiva for the future generations. That's a much bigger Kiddush Hashem. Much bigger Kiddush Hashem that 2,500 Jews participate with the yeshiva to pay this bill, rather 2-3 guys that participate will pay all the bill. Because that was a lot of money for the Jews in the world that are 20% of the wealth of the world belongs to Jews. 25% is by the hand of Jews. 25% of the wealth.
Say that out loud.
Right, but everybody knows it. ChatGPT and Jiminy, that's actually I got it from there. That's enough, everybody knows it. So it's famous, it's reality. But it's true. It's true, Mamish. So there's not big money for the Jews. And yet, somehow, big guys didn't cough up the money. But Hashem May, we're young, small guys, and it says that the Beis Hamikdash, the Koisel HaMa'arovi was built by the poor Jews. And the Shekhinah, they worked hard, they sweat to build the Koisel, and that sweat and the broken of the heart, a very simple Jew, made the Kedusha to stay for a long time. So I would say, I want to thank everyone in Yeshiva that participated, coming to the events, participating in the events, donating themselves, others, causing others to donate, even one shekel and another, accumulate the money, and hopefully, B'ezrat Hashem, that we're able to get a contract. Now that I paid the money, I have to get a contract in my hand. I didn't get it yet, but B'ezrat Hashem. Hopefully we get it. Say the Shema, now we have to build the yeshiva at another level. And this is the next Moshe. This morning, there was no gabbai. I was looking for a gabbai, there was no gabbai. I asked I don't know, is it easy? Binyamin wanted to make him a gabbai. So I wanted to make the Bochim a gabbai. It was my nephew, but he wasn't here. I said, where's Binyamin? But the point is, so I came close to the reading Rabbi Abraham said. We have to thank you reading the Torah for years and years. Be'emunah, so you give you a bracha to live long and healthy and strength. So he was reading the first part of the parasha, and it talks about that Hashem is saying to Moshe and Aaron and to the Kohanim after the death of the 2 children of Aaron. He says when you come to the Beis Hamikdash, you have to come with a kapara and do this and that. He said, what is the message for me? The message for me is what was the message of the Torah, what he's telling us. Rashi brings down a mashal. He says somebody was sick. So a doctor tells a sick person, listen, You need a change. You have to eat this, you have to that. Okay, the doctor said. You listen halfway, a quarter way, a few days later you forget. The tithe comes in, you forget. But you go to another doctor that says, wait a second. He opens the computer and he shows you, listen, if you're going to continue to eat this junk and that, you know what's going to happen? He shows you a picture of somebody's leg is cut off and who knows what, gangrene here, and who knows that, and there's and the lungs is full. He says, this is you if we're going to continue. So this guy's going to eat any more junk? No way! So the Torah is saying, give honor to the Beis Hamikdash. Don't call out kapor, etc. If you don't, you're going to die like the two children of Aaron. This is the message the way Rashi brings down according to the Medrash. But when I read this, it hit me in another way. Hashem gave us Al Zion for 60 years, 57, whatever it is, Mount Zion, the Yeshiva. If we don't learn a lekach. Lekach means lekach toiv. Lekach in English will say a lesson from your past. How to grow, to perfect yourself, become better. Next time, you're stupid or you're wrong. It's the wrong way. This is a message, on a positive note, not a negative, that if not, I'm going to die. Means, what is he saying to them? You have to learn a lesson. Those two children died because they didn't give cover to the Beis Hamikdash. So you don't come again with no cover, no atonement. Drinking wine, whatever the story is. It wasn't the problem of cover. The other pshat not, but according to the pshat, it was the problem of cover. He says, make sure that it's done properly. And he gave him details and rules in a more perfected way how to give cover to Beis Hamikdash. So if I would say to myself, now, Bezrat Hashem is giving us Al Zion to Mashiach Tzidkenu will come, praise us Hashem, speedily, like my father used to say, she was in the shul of him. Speedily, Mashiach, speedily. So, we can't continue the same way. We have to learn a lekach, and we have to go in another route, and a different route, another level, new tricks, and new ways, how to bring covered Hashem. The yeshiva is doing very good, Baruch Hashem, but we have to learn a lekach. The lekach was to me is very simple. If the yeshiva had the two lekach, if the yeshiva had in the money side, if the yeshiva had the proper system years before, when this thing will come, this thing came, we're able to solve in a much easier way. That's one lekach. Although Hashem wanted, after the fact, 2,500 people involved. But if we did it before we were professionals, 6 months I danced around. I didn't know exactly how to act. I did this, I took, where the Rabbi Fish is not here, I took his son-in-law. I didn't know exactly how to do it. It took me a long time, process of emotionally and whatever it is till I was able to understand how the process works. But see, the Shema, we succeeded. And even not 100% from that, like all the Nisim, the first we had around, but the Maisa happened. But I have to learn to build the yeshiva in a way that money ways is holds up in a better way. Number 2 is we have to publicize the yeshiva that every student, every Baal Tshuva around the world would want to come and know about this place, want to come here and break the doors down to come here. We have to expand the besmedrash, the yeshivas, the dormitories that are full of talmidim. Now, how is it going to be done? I was thinking, the first thing is, Bezrat Hashem, after this will get to the Bochim, after Shavuos, the whole dormitory is going to be moved to the Shabbos thing. I built another floor on the top. There's 3 floors. There's a caravan below. Or maybe we have another caravan. And all the boys from the dormitories upstairs are going to be getting out of there. And before you come into the dormitories, you're going to have to follow new rules. Rules of coming on time, putting yourself in the learning. There's no more private rooms, private apartments. So the older guys will suffer from it. Because all the guys like their own room, their own space, and no guy comes in, they throw them out, they stay alone in the room, until they get their friends, whatever it is. Here we're going to have one building, 3 floors. You have the Noyach Teva. The bottom is the Zevel. There's those kids, 19 years old, that are in the Zevel. You have the middle floor, which is normal kids, and the top of the older guys that need a cane to go up the 3rd floor. I'm just joking. Divided areas, rooms. And it's much closer, easier to control and easier to come to the yeshiva, go out of the yeshiva, make a beautiful dining room, etc. And we have to build, and if this is successful, we'll start confiscating more buildings and not renting it out and getting money, serious money from people to pay. And they want to rent and live out from renting rather. The yeshiva has a big foundation of money to support all those Balachuvas that don't have money. Of course, the parents are not with them and they're not working right now, or they don't have savings, whatever it is, they're able to learn Torah. This is not my thoughts, and B'ezrat Hashem I want to apply it and build the yeshiva in a big way, in much more serious way, and learn a lekach, learn a lesson from the 60 years past to another era of B'ezrat Hashem until Mashiach Tzidkenu comes speedily. Good Shabbos. רבי חנניה בן הקש שואל, רוצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכר ישראל, לפיכך, עיר פה להם תורה מצווה שנאמר, אבל לא יכול בעצם צדקוי, יחדיר תוירו וידיר. I just want to say again the thanks to all those people that participated in the yeshiva events. Because in order for the rich people to give money, they say, they have to have it, and men have to make it, and it makes a name. Number 2 is those that participated to give money. And those that are still participating to give monthly donations, a few shekels, 100, whatever you're giving, I want to thank you all. It's a big, every penny accumulates, and it gives cover to Torah, and cover of the yeshiva, and cover for our families and future generations. Tzadeu v'izkadei shemei Rabo, Kol Modi Rochi Husei v'yamlich Malchusei,